I want you to imagine something for a moment. Picture yourself standing by a flowing river. The water glides effortlessly, moving around obstacles, never stopping, never hesitating. Now ask yourself, why can't your money flow like that? Today, I'm going to share with you one of the most fascinating, yet simple secrets to removing financial blocks and attracting abundance. With water. Yes, water. It's not magic. It's not superstition. It's science and spiritual wisdom working together, as taught by Florence Scovel Shinn. And it has the power to transform your financial life. Let me tell you a story. A young woman named Sarah was struggling. Bills piled up. Opportunities slipped away. No matter how hard she tried, money never seemed to stay. One day, she learned about a simple practice: using water with intention. Every morning, she would fill a glass with water, say aloud, "Money flows to me freely, abundantly and now," and drink it with full belief. Within weeks, doors began to open. Unexpected checks arrived. Promotions came. Sarah's life began to shift. You see, water isn't just for drinking. It's a powerful conductor of energy. Just like electricity flows through a wire, your intentions flow through water. And when you combine intention with belief, miracles happen. Did you know that ancient civilizations revered water as sacred? Egyptians, Greeks, and even the Mayans believed that water could cleanse, heal, and attract blessings. They knew something we often forget in our modern world. Energy flows where attention goes. So how does it work? Financial blocks are often invisible. They are fears, doubts, and limiting beliefs. I'm not worthy of money. I never have enough. I'm bad with money. These thoughts are like dams in your river, stopping the flow. Water becomes your tool to break those dams. Every time you speak an affirmation over water, you're reprogramming your subconscious mind. You're literally washing away those blocks. You're telling the universe, I am ready. I'm open. I am abundant. Here's a simple way to start. Take a glass of water. Focus on a positive affirmation. Money flows to me in endless ways. Say it aloud with feeling. Believe it. Drink it slowly, imagining the abundance entering your life. Do this daily. Watch how opportunities, ideas, and unexpected wealth begin to appear. I know it might sound too simple. But remember, the universe responds to clarity and belief. It's like planting a seed. You water it, you nourish it, and it grows. The difference between those who remain financially stuck and those who thrive isn't luck. It's intention, belief, and consistent action. So today I challenge you, start your water practice tonight. Speak your affirmations. Feel the abundance as if it's already yours. Let your river of wealth flow freely, without fear, without hesitation. Imagine yourself a year from now, free from financial stress, watching money flow as naturally as a river, and knowing you created it. That's the power of water and the power of belief. Remember, abundance isn't somewhere out there. It's already inside you. Water is just the messenger. Believe. And watch as the universe responds with more than you ever imagined. Key takeaways. Water carries energy. Intention infused in water can influence your subconscious and attract abundance. Financial blocks are mental. Fear, doubt, and limiting beliefs act like dams, stopping your wealth flow. Affirmations are essential. Speaking positive money affirmations over water reprograms your mind. Consistency creates results. Daily practice builds momentum, like watering a seed to grow a tree. Historical wisdom supports it. Ancient civilizations recognized water as sacred and transformative. Abundance is already inside you. Water is a tool to unlock what you already possess. Belief activates it. Imagine waking up early in the morning, just as the first rays of sunlight begin to filter through your window. The world is quiet. The air is crisp. You walk to your kitchen and fill a simple glass with water. Nothing extraordinary, just water. And yet, in your hands, it begins to feel like something sacred, almost alive. This is not just a glass of water. It is a vessel of possibility, a messenger of abundance, a conductor of energy. For centuries, people have understood this. though in ways that were often dismissed by modern minds as superstition. Ancient cultures revered water as sacred. The Egyptians, for example, believed that water was a source of life and divine energy. The Nile, flowing endlessly, symbolized prosperity, nourishment, and regeneration. Temples were built near rivers, springs, and waterfalls, not just for beauty, but because water was understood as a carrier of energy that could heal, transform, and attract blessings. The Greeks called it the element of life. The Mayans treated it as a bridge between the physical and spiritual worlds. And somewhere deep inside us, even today, that knowledge still whispers to our hearts. Think about it. Water is the most receptive substance on the planet. It absorbs, it carries, it transforms. If you've ever watched a drop of dye spread through water, you've witnessed energy at work. The color moves effortlessly, permeating the liquid until the change is complete. That is how energy flows when it is properly directed. The same principle applies to your intentions. Let me take you to the story of Michael, a man who was drowning under the weight of financial stress. He worked tirelessly, yet no matter how much he earned, it slipped away like grains of sand through his fingers. One day, a friend introduced him to an idea that sounded almost too simple to believe. Speak your intentions over water. Michael was skeptical. It's just water, he said. But he decided to try it, more out of desperation than faith. Every morning, he would fill a glass, hold it carefully in his hands, and whisper with conviction, "Money flows to me effortlessly. Abundance surrounds me." At first, nothing seemed to change. But Michael noticed a subtle shift in himself. He felt lighter, calmer, and strangely more confident. His mind, which had been clouded with worry, began to clear. His focus sharpened. He started noticing opportunities he had overlooked before. A friend who needed someone to manage a project, a small freelance job he could pick up, a chance encounter with someone in a cafe that led to a lucrative contract. Within weeks, his income began to increase, and not just incrementally, but in ways that felt almost magical. The water had become a bridge between his conscious desire and his subconscious alignment with abundance. Science today is beginning to validate what Michael experienced. Water is made up of molecules that respond to energy and vibration. Experiments by pioneers like Masaru Emoto have shown that words, thoughts, and emotions can literally influence the structure of water. Positive words create beautifully symmetrical crystals. Negative words create chaotic, distorted forms. Imagine then, holding water in your hands and filling it with the energy of gratitude, abundance, and intention. When you drink it, your body, mind, and spirit absorb that energy. You are not just hydrating yourself. You are aligning yourself with a flow of prosperity that exists all around you. Think of water as a mirror for your inner state. If your thoughts are fearful, if you speak with doubt, the energy in the water mirrors that. If your thoughts are clear, positive, and intentional, the water becomes a vessel of transformation. This is why Florence Scovel Shinn emphasized the simplicity of speaking your affirmations over water. She knew that water is not passive. It is alive, receptive, and responsive. Consider another example. This time a woman named Anika. She was a small business owner who constantly struggled with cash flow. Every evening, she would stand by her kitchen sink, pour water into a small jug, and quietly say, "I am open to receive money in unexpected ways." At first, it felt silly, like talking to a child's toy. But over time, she noticed a shift. Not just in finances, but in herself. Her anxiety faded. She began to see solutions instead of problems. A supplier offered her better terms. A client returned with a bigger order. Even a long-lost relative unexpectedly offered support. The water had become a medium through which she communicated her intentions to the universe, but more importantly, it reshaped her own energy and mindset, allowing opportunities to flow naturally. Water is also deeply symbolic. It moves, it adapts, it finds the path of least resistance. Think of a river carving its way through mountains over centuries. It doesn't fight, it flows. In life, financial blocks are like rocks in that river. Fear, doubt, scarcity thinking, they dam the flow. But when you infuse water with intention and drink it, you are mimicking the river's wisdom. You are telling yourself and the universe that you are willing to flow, to move around obstacles, to embrace abundance. The energy of water amplifies this willingness. Even in our everyday life, we can see water carrying energy. A cup of coffee isn't just caffeine. The aroma and warmth affect your mood. A simple shower can wash away stress. Water responds to energy all the time, and when we consciously direct it, it becomes a partner in our transformation. Imagine for a moment each sip of water you take infused with intention. Each gulp becomes a declaration. I am ready to receive, I am open to abundance, I am worthy of financial freedom. Over time, the subconscious mind begins to align with these statements. Doors open. Ideas flow. Opportunities manifest. You start seeing money, not as something you chase, but as something that naturally flows toward you, just as rivers flow to the sea. And here's the beauty. It doesn't require complex rituals or expensive tools. It requires awareness, belief, and consistency. Water is everywhere. It is free, abundant, and waiting to be harnessed. Each glass you fill, each affirmation you speak, becomes a small act of creation. It's a way of partnering with the universe, using the simplest element on earth to channel energy, remove blocks, and attract what you deserve. The next time you hold a glass of water, I want you to look at it differently. See it as alive, see it as a messenger, see it as a conduit between your desires and your reality. Speak to it. Bless it. Let it carry your intentions. And as you drink, feel the energy infuse your body, your mind, and your spirit. Let it remind you that abundance is not somewhere outside. It is flowing within, ready to be unlocked by the simplest, most natural medium on earth. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine a dam blocking a river. The water presses against it, restless, yearning to flow, but it cannot move past the barrier. Now imagine that river is your life, your energy, your potential for wealth, and the dam. The dam is your own mind. The doubts, the fears, the I'm not enough thoughts. They are invisible, yet impenetrable walls that keep the abundance of the world from reaching you. Most people never realize it, but the biggest obstacle to financial freedom is not the economy, not luck, not timing. It is the way you think about money, your beliefs about your worth, and the stories you've told yourself for years. Let me tell you about Jason, a man who believed he was cursed with bad luck. No matter how hard he worked, his bank account seemed to mock him. He told himself, I will never get ahead. Money slips through my fingers. I am not good with finances. These were not just idle thoughts. They were the very blocks that held his river of wealth captive. One day, frustrated and desperate, Jason attended a workshop on mindset and abundance. The speaker asked a simple question. What if the only thing standing between you and financial freedom is the story you tell yourself every day? Jason laughed nervously. Sounded too simple. But something stirred inside him. He began to pay attention to his thoughts. Every time he said, I can't afford this, or I'm terrible with money, he imagined a brick being added to a wall in front of his river. He realized that each fear, each negative thought, each belief in scarcity was like cement being poured into a dam. And the longer he let it sit, the higher and stronger the dam became, stopping him from experiencing the flow of abundance that was always around him. Consider the words of Florence Scovel Shinn. Your word is your wand. The words you speak create your reality. Every negative statement, every limiting belief is not harmless. It is an act of creation, but creation of the very thing you do not want. Scarcity breeds scarcity. Fear attracts fear. The energy of your thoughts flows like water, but it flows in the direction you send it. If you send it toward fear, it multiplies. If you send it toward abundance, it transforms your reality. Jason decided to experiment. Instead of saying, I can't, he began to say, I am open to wealth. Instead of fearing bills, he whispered, I am ready to receive money in expected and unexpected ways. First, it felt awkward. It felt foreign to imagine life without financial stress. But he persisted. Slowly, imperceptibly at first, the bricks of his mental dam began to loosen. Opportunities he had never noticed before appeared. An old friend recommended a client. A forgotten investment returned dividends. A chance encounter led to a side business. Each of these moments was small, but cumulatively, the river began to flow again. Now let's consider someone else. Maria. She grew up hearing her parents say, "Money doesn't grow on trees. We never have enough, and rich people are greedy." By the time she was an adult, these messages were deeply ingrained in her subconscious. She worked hard, yet no matter how much she earned, she never felt wealthy. She felt trapped, like she was chasing a mirage. One day, a friend introduced her to a practice of affirmations and mental reframing. She began to say, "I am worthy of wealth. Money comes to me easily and often." At first, nothing seemed to change externally, but internally Maria felt a shift. She felt lighter, freer, and more confident. Her mind, once crowded with scarcity, was now open to possibility. Within months, she noticed that she wasn't just attracting money. She was attracting people, opportunities, and experiences that supported abundance. Her mental blocks had melted away. Financial blocks are not about external circumstances. They are about perception. Imagine you are wearing glasses with a thick layer of grime. The world is still there, full of opportunities, wealth, and abundance, but all you see is a foggy blur. The moment you clean those lenses, suddenly the landscape is clear. You can see paths you never knew existed. That is exactly what happens when you recognize your mental blocks and consciously choose to remove them. Even history is filled with examples of how belief shapes reality. Think of Thomas Edison. When he was inventing the light bulb, many told him it was impossible. Yet he believed in the possibility. Every failure was not a brick in the dam. It was simply water pressing against his determination. His belief allowed the energy of his ideas to flow freely until it became tangible reality. Your mind works the same way. If your mental dam is filled with fear, scarcity, or self-doubt, your potential remains trapped. But if you replace those beliefs with faith, intention, and positivity, your river begins to move again. Let's make it personal. Close your eyes and picture the thoughts you carry about money. Are they thoughts of fear, of limitation, of struggle? Each one of these is a mental dam, holding back the flow of abundance that is your birthright. Now imagine removing one thought. Just one. Replace it with, "I am worthy of financial freedom." Feel the weight lift even just a little. Replace another thought. "I am open to money in many forms." Again the water shifts. And as you continue, the dam begins to crumble. The flow returns. There's a powerful truth here. You cannot control the world, the economy, or what others do, but you can control your mind. You can choose which thoughts to nurture, which beliefs to hold, and which mental blocks to remove. When you understand this, when you truly see that your mental landscape is creating your financial reality, a remarkable thing happens. You stop feeling like a victim and start feeling like a creator. You become an architect of your own wealth. Jason and Maria, and countless others like them, discovered that financial freedom is first a state of mind. When they removed the limiting beliefs, when they reprogrammed their subconscious with positive energy, when they spoke words of abundance and possibility, the river of wealth returned. Money, opportunities, and success began to flow naturally, effortlessly, and in ways they never imagined. Think about it. The dam is inside you, but so is the key to opening it. Each thought you choose, each word you speak, each affirmation you believe in, is a tool to dismantle that barrier. The river is ready to flow, and the moment you align your mind with abundance, you will see that the energy of wealth is always there, waiting, ready, and eager to move through you. Imagine a young man named Daniel, sitting alone at his small kitchen table, staring at a stack of bills that seemed to grow taller by the day. He felt trapped, exhausted, and defeated. Money had always been a source of anxiety for him, a constant reminder of scarcity and struggle. One evening, feeling particularly desperate, he came across a quote from Florence Scovel Shinn. "Your word is your wand. The words you speak create your reality." Daniel read it again, slowly, letting it sink in. Could it really be this simple, he wondered. Words creating reality. He had spent years working hard, budgeting, saving, and still the bills seemed to win. But that night he decided to try. Daniel poured a glass of water and held it in his hands, feeling its coolness against his palms. He took a deep breath and whispered, "Money flows to me easily, abundantly, and now." At first his mind balked. This is silly. Nothing is going to change. But he continued day after day, repeating the affirmation with intention and feeling. Slowly, subtly he noticed a shift. Not in the world immediately but within himself. He began to carry a quiet confidence. He felt lighter. Decisions became easier. Opportunities that he had once overlooked now seemed to appear with ease, as if the universe was responding to the energy he had put into the water, into the words, into himself. Affirmations are not just empty words. They are declarations of intention, a form of communication with the deepest parts of your subconscious mind. Think of your subconscious as fertile soil. Every word you speak is a seed. If you speak fear, doubt, and scarcity, you plant weeds that choke the soil, preventing anything from growing. If you plant seeds of belief, abundance, and possibility, they take root, grow strong, and bear fruit in ways that surprise you. Consider Emily, a single mother working 2 jobs to make ends meet. She was exhausted, yet determined to create a better life for her children. One evening, she remembered reading about affirmations over water. Skeptical but hopeful, she poured herself a glass and said, "I am worthy of wealth. I am open to money in many forms." She spoke it slowly, with conviction, and drank the water, imagining it filling her body with confidence, courage, and clarity. Within weeks, she noticed subtle changes. A freelance opportunity she hadn't applied for before called her. A former client returned with a bigger project. A distant cousin offered to invest in her small venture. Emily realized the words she spoke were not just influencing her mindset, they were attracting opportunities she had never imagined. Affirmations are essential because they work on multiple levels. On one level, they shift your energy. The universe responds to the energy you project, and words are energy in motion. On another level, affirmations rewire the subconscious. If you have spent years believing, consciously or unconsciously, that money is hard to come by, your subconscious blocks opportunities automatically. Speaking positive, present-tense statements over water helps to replace those old patterns. It's like clearing debris from a river so that the water can flow freely again. Think of it this way. Your thoughts are the blueprint, but your words are the hammer and nails. Without the words, the blueprint remains unrealized. When you speak your affirmations with clarity, feeling, and belief, you are constructing the reality you desire. Every time you say, "I am abundant," or "money comes to me easily," you are building a bridge between your current life and the life you want to live. There is a story of an artist named Sophia who had struggled for years to sell her paintings. Every day, she would paint and hope for clients, but the sales were slow. Then she began a practice she learned from a friend. Each morning, she would hold a glass of water, look into it, and say, "I attract wealthy patrons who love my art. Money flows to me freely through my creativity." At first, she laughed at herself in private. But day after day, she persisted. And slowly, the universe began to respond. People she had never met commissioned her work. Galleries reached out. A local businessman purchased a series of her paintings. Each opportunity seemed to appear exactly when she needed it. Sophia realized that the words she had spoken, paired with her belief and consistent practice, had magnetized wealth to her life. The key is consistency and emotion. It is not enough to recite affirmations like a mantra without feeling. You must speak them with conviction, visualize them as if they are already true, and feel gratitude as though the abundance has already arrived. Your subconscious cannot distinguish between reality and what it experiences vividly in your mind. When you combine words, feeling, and visualization, you create a powerful magnetic field that attracts what you desire. Imagine the energy of your words traveling through the water, through your hands, and into the universe. Every affirmation is like a pebble dropped into a pond. The ripples spread farther than you can see. Opportunities, ideas, and resources begin to align in ways that seem almost miraculous. That is why Florence Scovel Shinn emphasized the use of spoken affirmations over water. It is a way to harness a simple, natural element as a conductor for your intentions, amplifying your words and sending your desires into motion. There's also a psychological dimension. Speaking affirmations over water forces you to pause, to focus, to set intention. It shifts your mindset from scarcity to abundance, from doubt to belief. It turns a mundane act, drinking water, into a ritual of creation. It reminds you that you have the power to shape your reality, that you are not at the mercy of circumstances. You are the architect, and your words are the tools you use to design your life. Think of the ancient Egyptians, who believed that the spoken word could shape reality. Priests, scholars, and leaders understood that words carried immense power, capable of influencing the energy of the world around them. Every time you speak an affirmation, you are participating in that timeless principle. You are declaring, I am ready, am open, I am worthy. You are signaling to your subconscious, to the universe, and to yourself that abundance is not a distant dream. It is a present reality waiting to unfold. Imagine, if you will, the river of your life again. Your financial blocks may have dammed the flow, but affirmations are the water you pour over the dam, seeping into every crack, softening the cement, and eventually washing it away. Each statement, spoken with conviction and belief, weakens the barriers, allowing the river to surge freely. Money, opportunities, and prosperity begin to move toward you naturally, effortlessly, as they always intended to. Daniel, Emily, Sophia, they all discovered the same truth. It wasn't just hard work, luck, or timing that changed their financial lives. It was the deliberate use of their words, spoken over water with intention, emotion, and belief. It was the understanding that affirmations are not merely statements, they are acts of creation. Every word you speak can either build walls or open doors. Every affirmation can either block abundance or attract it. And when spoken over water, that energy is amplified, flowing through your body, mind, and spirit, and into the universe itself. And now, imagine holding that power in your own hands. Each morning, a simple glass of water, a simple statement, a simple act of belief can transform your life. You are not powerless. You are not at the mercy of circumstance. You are a creator, and your words are your wand. Speak them, feel them, believe them, and watch as the river of wealth returns, flowing freely, effortlessly, abundantly. Imagine a man named Thomas, who had dreams of financial freedom but often found himself discouraged. He tried new strategies, courses, and systems, yet nothing seemed to stick. One day, a mentor pulled him aside and said, "Thomas, it's not about finding the perfect method. It's about showing up every single day and committing to it." At first, Thomas felt frustrated. "But I've been trying for years," he protested. The mentor smiled gently and said, "I know. But success is less about trying and more about consistent, deliberate action." That phrase would change Thomas's life forever. Consistency is like the rhythm of a river. Doesn't flood overnight. It doesn't carve a canyon in a single day. But day after day, year after year, it flows, persistent and unstoppable. The power of daily action lies not in its immediacy, but in its cumulative effect. Just as a single drop of water might seem insignificant, countless drops create oceans. Likewise, each small step, each repeated practice of affirmations, each act of belief and intention, compounds into a force that becomes unstoppable. Take the story of Hannah, a young entrepreneur. She wanted to manifest financial abundance for her small business, but was easily discouraged. One week, a client didn't pay on time. The next week, a proposal was rejected. She felt her efforts were pointless. Then, she remembered the principle of consistency. She committed to a simple practice. Every morning, she would fill a glass of water, say her affirmations with full intention, and visualize her financial success. Some days she felt skeptical. Other days she felt rushed. But she never missed a day. After months, the small seeds she had planted began to sprout. Clients started returning, referrals increased, and unexpected opportunities appeared. The cumulative effect of her consistent practice had created a momentum she could not have predicted. Consistency is also what transforms belief into habit, and habit into a natural state of being. Think about the muscle memory of an athlete or the skill of a musician. They don't perform at peak levels by practicing once or twice. They show up day after day, repetition after repetition, until mastery is achieved. In the same way, your financial mindset, your ability to attract abundance, and your alignment with wealth require the same discipline. You must show up daily, even when it feels tedious, even when results are not immediately visible. The universe responds not just to desire but to dedication. Consider Liam, who had struggled with money his entire life. He began a practice of writing affirmations over water every morning. Initially, he felt silly. He wanted results now, not in weeks or months. But he committed to the practice because he believed in the principle. Weeks turned into months, and gradually the energy shifted. He noticed he was no longer fearful about finances. He made clearer decisions, took smarter risks, and saw opportunities where before he saw obstacles. The consistent practice had rewired his subconscious, building a foundation that could carry the weight of abundance. Consistency also builds trust with yourself. There's a quiet power in proving to yourself that you can follow through. Every day you show up for your affirmations, for your intentions, for your money practice, you are sending a message to your subconscious. I am serious. I am committed. I am ready. Your mind, which once doubted your ability to attract wealth, begins to trust you. And once trust is established, alignment occurs naturally. Opportunities, synchronicities, and breakthroughs flow effortlessly, because you are no longer resisting the natural flow of abundance. Let me tell you about Sophia, who had inherited debt from her family and felt weighed down by financial pressure. She learned about Florence Scovel Shinn's principles and decided to incorporate daily water affirmations into her routine. First, progress was invisible. She questioned herself constantly, yet she persisted. Each morning, she held the water, repeated her affirmations, and envisioned abundance. Slowly, she noticed subtle shifts. A friend introduced her to a job opportunity. A client unexpectedly paid early. A long-forgotten account returned funds. Months later, she was financially stable. It wasn't magic that caused the change. It was her unwavering, consistent action, repeated every day, that created momentum and allowed the universe to respond. Consistency also works like gravity for your intentions. The more persistent you are, the harder it becomes for the universe to ignore your desire. It's not about perfection. It's about showing up, regardless of circumstances, emotions, or external conditions. Just as a river continues to flow despite rocks, bends, and obstacles, your commitment to consistent practice allows your energy to carve new pathways for wealth and abundance. Think of the simple act of planting a seed in a garden. You water it, give it sunlight, and tend to it daily. Some days you see no growth at all. You wonder if it's worth it. But if you stop, the seed dies. If you persist, the roots strengthen, the stem grows, and eventually a flower or fruit emerges. Financial abundance works the same way. The seeds are your intentions, affirmations, and practices. The sunlight is your belief. The water is the consistent action. The results may not be immediate, but with persistence, growth is inevitable. There is also an emotional transformation that occurs through consistency. When you commit to daily action, fear begins to diminish. Doubt loses its power. The mind that once questioned every move begins to trust in the process. You start to embody abundance, not just chase it. You no longer look outside for validation or results, because the act of showing up daily becomes a form of proof in itself. You begin to see that wealth is not a distant prize. It is a state of being cultivated through persistent alignment. Consider the ancient wisdom of rivers and flowing water. A river does not carve a canyon in a single day, yet over decades and centuries, it transforms the landscape completely. Every drop, every small movement, contributes to an unstoppable force. Your consistent actions, Your daily affirmations, intentions, visualizations are like those drops of water. They may seem insignificant alone, but together over time, they shape the very reality of your financial life. Even history provides examples of consistent action creating extraordinary results. Thomas Edison tested thousands of materials before discovering the perfect filament for the light bulb. Henry Ford refined his manufacturing techniques over years, showing up every day to perfect a vision. J.K. Rowling faced repeated rejection before finally completing the Harry Potter series. In every case, it wasn't luck alone. It was the relentless, consistent pursuit of their vision that led to monumental breakthroughs. Your financial journey is no different. Consistency is the bridge between desire and reality. Thomas, Hannah, Liam, Sophia, they all discovered the same truth. Dreams do not manifest through sporadic effort. Wealth is not attracted through occasional practice. The river of abundance flows only when you show up consistently, with intention, belief, and dedication. Each small action compounds. Each day you persist, momentum grows. Each repetition strengthens the alignment between your conscious mind, subconscious beliefs, and the universal flow of energy. Imagine now a life where you never miss a day of your practice, where your intentions, affirmations, and belief are like a constant current, flowing through your life without interruption. Opportunities appear, doors open, ideas manifest. You no longer chase wealth, you embody it. You no longer worry, you trust the process. The river of abundance flows freely, not because you worked once or twice, but because you showed up day after day, unwavering, persistent, and consistent. Imagine walking along the banks of the Nile River thousands of years ago. The sun is rising, casting a golden glow over the waters that have sustained civilizations for centuries. The Egyptians believed that the river was more than just water. It was life itself, a conduit of energy, of power, and of abundance. Priests performed rituals along its banks, speaking prayers, chanting intentions, and offering gratitude. They understood something that modern minds often overlook. Water is alive with energy, and when harnessed with intention, it can shape reality. Fast forward a few centuries to ancient Greece. Philosophers like Pythagoras and Plato spoke of the elements, teaching that water was not just a physical necessity but a carrier of vibrational energy. They observed the natural world, the ebb and flow of rivers, the movement of tides, and the transformative power of streams carving through rock. They realized that water responds to energy, to intention, to belief, and that humanity could learn to work with it rather than against it. Even the Mayans understood this principle deeply. Sacred cenotes were revered as portals to the divine, places where water was believed to carry messages to the gods. They would offer prayers, speak intentions, and trust that the energy within water could manifest blessings, guidance, and abundance. These civilizations, separated by oceans and time, all understood the same truth. Water is not passive. It is responsive, alive, and a powerful ally for those who know how to work with it. Let me tell you about Daniel, a young man living in a modern city, burdened by debt and financial stress. He had tried every conventional method, budgets, side hustles, courses, but nothing seemed to stick. One evening, while reading a book about Florence Scovel Shinn, he stumbled upon the concept of speaking affirmations over water. First, he was skeptical. This is ancient wisdom, he thought. It probably worked for them, but not for me. Yet something inside him stirred. Perhaps it was curiosity, perhaps it was desperation. He decided to try it. Every morning, Daniel would fill a glass with water, place his hands around it, and speak aloud, "Money flows to me freely, abundantly, and now." He visualized opportunities, imagined financial freedom, and felt gratitude as if it were already real. First, it seemed like nothing changed. The bills remained, the stress persisted, and his doubts whispered that this was foolish. But he continued day after day. Slowly, subtle shifts began to appear. He noticed that he was calmer, more focused, and able to make decisions with clarity. Opportunities that he had once overlooked began to present themselves. Friends mentioned projects that needed his skills, unexpected checks arrived, and ideas for passive income flowed effortlessly. What Daniel experienced was not magic. It was the culmination of wisdom that has been practiced for thousands of years. The ancients knew that intention combined with water amplifies energy. When you speak with clarity, belief, and emotion over water, you are participating in a ritual that has been validated by time. You are aligning yourself with a universal principle that transcends culture, geography, and centuries. Consider Sarah, a small business owner struggling to expand her venture. She had read about ancient practices of water and intention and decided to incorporate them into her routine. Each morning, she poured water into a small bowl, repeated affirmations, and imagined her business flourishing. Within weeks, she began to notice subtle yet profound changes. A supplier unexpectedly offered better terms, a client requested a larger order, and a mentor offered guidance she hadn't sought. The energy she infused into the water had activated a flow that connected her with opportunities she had previously missed. History also provides us with countless examples of water being used as a medium for transformation. In Japan, Shinto priests perform water purification rituals, standing under waterfalls to cleanse the body, mind, and spirit. The practice is not symbolic alone. It is based on the understanding that water carries energy and that intention can direct that energy toward clarity, strength, and manifestation. In the West, alchemists believed water could transmit spiritual energy, amplifying thoughts, intentions, and prayers. Across cultures, the message is the same. Water is not inert. It responds to belief, focus, and emotion. Even in our daily lives, we can see water as a bridge between intention and reality. When you pour water and speak affirmations, you are participating in a timeless practice. You are connecting with the wisdom of those who understood that energy is real, that vibration matters, and that the natural world can amplify your desires. You are tapping into the same principle that guided civilizations for millennia, using a simple, abundant resource to align yourself with abundance. Consider the story of Alejandro, a man who inherited his family's farm in South America. The farm had potential but was burdened by financial strain and decades of neglect. Alejandro learned about water and intention from a mentor and began to practice daily. Each morning, he poured water over seeds, spoke affirmations of growth, and envisioned the land flourishing. Slowly, the energy shifted. Crops began to thrive, investors showed interest, and local markets sought his produce. What had once seemed impossible became inevitable because Alejandro aligned his actions with the ancient principle that water carries energy when paired with intention. The power of historical wisdom is that it validates what many modern skeptics dismiss. It shows that water, intention, and belief are not New Age gimmicks. They are principles observed, practiced, and proven over centuries. When you hold water in your hands and speak your affirmations, you are not engaging in superstition. You are participating in a practice that has connected humanity to abundance for millennia. You are standing on the shoulders of civilizations that understood energy, vibration, and the flow of life. Think about it. Every river, spring, and waterfall has witnessed humanity's attempts to harness energy for growth, health, and prosperity. Every culture has recognized that water can carry intention, amplify prayer, and create alignment with abundance. When you use water in your daily practice, you are joining a lineage of wisdom that transcends time and place. You are participating in a universal law that rewards belief, clarity, and consistency. Even in modern science, we are beginning to understand what the ancients knew intuitively. Water responds to vibration, to sound, to emotion. Studies have shown that positive words and intentions can influence water's molecular structure, creating beautiful, harmonious patterns, whereas negative thoughts create disarray. Imagine drinking water imbued with energy, intention, and belief. That energy flows into your body, into your subconscious, and into your life. The results may not always be immediate, but the alignment has begun, just as it did for the civilizations that revered water as sacred. Imagine now holding a simple glass of water in your hand. You are not just quenching your thirst. You are participating in a ritual practiced by Egyptians, Greeks, Mayans, Japanese, and countless others across history. You are connecting with energy that transcends centuries. You are tapping into a principle that has been honored, tested, and proven time and again. You are using water as a tool to amplify your intentions, to align with abundance, and to remove blocks that have kept your river of wealth from flowing freely. Daniel, Sarah, Alejandro, and countless others discovered the same truth. The wisdom of the ancients is alive in every drop of water. When paired with intention, belief, and focus, it becomes a conduit for transformation. It is not about superstition or luck. It is about harnessing a timeless principle that has guided civilizations toward prosperity, clarity, and success. The energy is there, waiting, abundant, and ready to respond to your commitment, your words, and your vision. Imagine standing at the edge of a vast, serene lake just before sunrise. The water is still, reflecting the soft glow of dawn. You stare at the surface, feeling its depth, its quiet power, and you realize something profound. The lake has always been full. Its fullness does not depend on the rain, the rivers, or the seasons. It simply exists. This lake is a perfect reflection of the truth about abundance. It is already inside you, quietly waiting, endlessly full, ready to flow once you open the gates within yourself. Take the story of Maya, a woman who had spent most of her life believing that wealth was something external, something to chase, earn, or compete for. She worked tirelessly, chasing promotions, side jobs, and opportunities, yet she constantly felt that scarcity was lurking just around the corner. One evening, frustrated and exhausted, she stumbled upon a quote from Florence Scovel Shinn. "There is an abundance within you that no circumstance can touch." Maya paused. For the first time, she considered that the problem was not the economy, her boss, or the market. It was her belief that she had to seek abundance outside of herself. The next morning, Maya filled a glass with water and held it carefully in her hands. She whispered, "Abundance is already mine. I am open to receive the wealth that already exists within me." First, the words felt foreign. She had been taught to chase, to strive, to look outward. But she persisted. Each day, she repeated her affirmations over water, visualized her life filled with financial ease, and imagined the flow of wealth within herself. Slowly, imperceptibly at first, her energy began to shift. She no longer felt desperate or anxious. She felt grounded, confident, and connected to a source she had always possessed but never recognized. Abundance is not something you earn. It is something you remember. Just as the lake does not create its fullness, it simply is full, so too your potential for wealth, prosperity, and opportunity has always been inside you. The problem is that many of us have built mental dams, believing scarcity, fear, and limitation. We forget that abundance is a state of being, a natural condition of life, waiting for us to acknowledge it. Consider David, a young entrepreneur who constantly compared himself to others. Every time he saw someone else succeed, he felt smaller, inadequate, and undeserving. One day, he learned about the practice of affirming abundance with water. Skeptical but curious, he filled a glass and said aloud, "The wealth I seek is already inside me. I am connected to limitless abundance." That simple act changed his perspective. He realized that his competition was not external. It was the inner voice that told him he was not enough. Once he began to nurture the abundance within, his actions shifted naturally. He stopped chasing what he thought he lacked and began attracting opportunities effortlessly, because he was aligned with the energy of his inherent wealth. Abundance inside you is not just about money. It is about energy, creativity, confidence, and the ability to act decisively. Think of it like a river flowing underground. You may not always see it, but it is there, nourishing everything around it. Your skills, talents, ideas, and intentions are all part of this hidden reservoir. The moment you acknowledge and connect with it, the river rises to the surface, flowing freely into your life as wealth, opportunity, and prosperity. Let's take the example of Layla, an artist who had struggled to sell her paintings. She believed that abundance was outside her reach, and that success depended on luck or recognition from galleries. A mentor introduced her to the concept that abundance already existed inside her, that her creativity, talent, and vision were the source of wealth waiting to be unlocked. Every morning, she poured water into a small bowl, whispered affirmations of abundance, and visualized her art connecting with people who appreciated and supported her work. Slowly, her confidence grew, and with it, her success. She no longer waited for external validation. The abundance inside her guided her actions, attracted clients, and opened doors she had never imagined. The power of this principle lies in its simplicity and universality. You do not need more resources, more connections, or more luck. You need awareness of the fullness that already exists within you and the willingness to align with it. Every thought, every word, every act of belief is a bridge between your inner abundance and the reality you wish to create. When you affirm, "Abundance is already mine," you are not hoping for it. You are acknowledging it, claiming it, and allowing it to flow naturally through your life. Even history reminds us of this truth. Philosophers, mystics, and spiritual teachers across cultures have emphasized that true wealth begins within. The Buddha spoke of the inner richness of mind and spirit. Ancient sages taught that the universe reflects the energy you hold inside. The Egyptians and Greeks revered water, not just for life, but as a conduit for energy already present in the universe and within each individual. Every time you work with water, affirm your abundance, and visualize the wealth that exists within, you are participating in a timeless principle that has guided humanity toward prosperity and fulfillment. Consider Raj, a man burdened by financial worries who constantly felt he needed external approval and success to feel worthy. He began a daily practice of speaking affirmations over water, stating, "The abundance I seek is already inside me. I am worthy of wealth, happiness, and success." Over time, Raj noticed that his actions shifted. He approached opportunities with confidence, made decisions more decisively, and no longer felt the constant anxiety that had plagued him for years. The abundance inside him was always there, but now it had a conduit, a way to manifest externally through his alignment with it. Abundance inside you is also about mindset. It is the realization that lack is an illusion created by fear, comparison, and outdated beliefs. The water you use in your daily affirmations is a tool to anchor this truth. It becomes a mirror, reflecting the fullness that already exists within you and amplifying it. Each sip, each affirmation, each visualization reinforces the knowledge that you are not at the mercy of circumstance. You are the source of wealth, creativity, and possibility. Think of the river again, flowing silently beneath the earth, unseen yet powerful. Your inner abundance is that river. Sometimes you may feel blocked or distant from it, but it has never disappeared. It has always existed, waiting for you to recognize its presence. When you speak affirmations, when you connect with water, when you act with belief, you are opening the gates to that river, allowing it to surge into your life as wealth, opportunities, and fulfillment. Maya, David, Layla, and Raj all discovered the same truth. The external world can shift, change, or even present obstacles, but the river of abundance within remains untouched. It is infinite, inexhaustible, and waiting for acknowledgement. Once they aligned with it, once they trusted in its existence, their lives began to transform effortlessly. They no longer chased wealth, they attracted it. They no longer feared scarcity, they lived in fullness. Now, imagine holding a glass of water, feeling its cool energy, whispering your affirmation, and truly knowing, truly feeling, that abundance is already within you. Every act, every intention, every thought becomes a reflection of that inner fullness. The universe responds, not because it must, but because you have aligned yourself with the natural law of abundance. You are no longer seeking something outside. You are awakening what has always been yours, and letting it flow freely into your life. As we've seen, the power to attract wealth, remove blocks, and awaken abundance has always been within you, waiting to flow. The question is, are you ready to unlock it? If you're serious about taking control of your financial destiny, hit that subscribe button. Not because I said so, but because mastery begins with knowledge and action. Comment below. Which one of these principles will you start applying today, and why? Your journey starts with awareness, and sharing your thoughts can spark breakthroughs. Like, subscribe, and let's turn possibility into reality together.